7 ways to improve your sleep and my experience at the workplace with sleeping. I am Edgar Rodriguez and welcome to Coding Edgar. So today's video is not about JavaScript or about software, but it's about something that really have affected my coworkers and myself included. That is not sleeping well. I have big issues sleeping, and I've tried to study as much as I can things that really help me sleep. And if you think you're not in this demographic, then just answer me this. It's easier for you to put crunch time for a week, like getting off the computer really late at night and be really there in crunch time, even putting some all-nighters in the week, or get 7 days straight of good deep resting sleep. If you are in this category of people who does not get constantly good sleeping quality, then maybe you can learn something from this video. I did not come up with these tips. These tips come from Dr. Andrew Huberman, which is actually a PhD in neuroscience. He's a professor, a lab director at Stanford University of Medicine. Now, Dr. Huberman has spoken for a while now in podcasts, very famous and popular English podcast, but now he has his own YouTube channel where he can speak at length about the subjects that really interest him for the sake of public knowledge. So that's some really good stuff right there. He is brilliant. He is incredibly versed and incredibly structured when he speaks, so it's so easy to learn from him because the bump of information that he delivers in each video is amazing and it's very good references. So if you want to dig deeper, you can search all the mentions that he does. And this article is no more than just a small tribute to Dr. Huberman's month of talking about sleep. He is talking January about how to sleep better, and his goal is help us to get consistently good, well-resting sleep that lasts for about 7 to 9 hours a day. So in this video I'm not going to touch too much of this article per se or what Dr. Huberman is saying, because it's better for you to watch his channel after you watch this video. Wink wink, like and subscribe, yeah. And but I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about my experience with the points that he talks about. So the first thing that he does is telling us that sleep is actually governed by two forces. The first force is a chemical force called adenosine, and the easiest way to explain adenosine is that it builds up a hunger for sleep when we are awake, but it resets when we sleep well too. So, and the easiest way to explain it is through caffeine. Caffeine, actually, when we drink caffeine and we feel like super energized, it's not actually because coffee has energy on it. It's because caffeine blocks the adenosine receptors in our body. So we stop feeling hunger for sleep. So that's terrific, right? You feel so energized by ignoring and blocking the need of sleep build up on your body. And now, back to my experience with this, I particularly started to drink coffee when I started to work, and I started to put all-nighters, and I started to just getting that huge desire of I don't want to sleep, I want to take every single moment to be more competitive in my work, deliver things better. And I started to drink coffee for a few months, and then I stopped because I developed gastritis thanks to coffee and my bad view of the world. I was extremely stressed back then, but the first thing that my doctor recommended was drop coffee. Since then, that was a lot of years back, every time that I drink coffee, I can drink coffee one day, something like that. But if I drink coffee 2-3 days in a row, immediately the gastritis comes back for a while. So I don't drink coffee. However, in every co-working space that I've been, I've met at least one person that drinks coffee just as much as I drink water, meaning they have a huge cup of coffee behind that besides them in their desk, and it's always full, and they drink coffee all day. Now, what I think is interesting about this is that I drink a little bit of coffee and I have gastritis and I have trouble sleeping, and Dr. Huberman explained that's normal, and that these other co-workers that I have are also in a different variation and sensibility to coffee, and actually how they behave is not wrong. Like, there are people that can drink that much coffee and they don't get affecting results. They don't get trouble sleeping at night by drinking coffee. So that's nice, because I used to tell my coworkers, like, dude, you shouldn't drink that much coffee, it really affects me bad. But Dr. Huberman explained that everybody is different, there is not recipe to fit us all, and if you are one of the people that is extremely common, that drink a lot of coffee or a lot of caffeine beverages, like, I don't know, energy drinks or tea, for example, you can, and you think that affects your sleep, then maybe, yeah, probably it's affecting your sleep. You should try to drink coffee earlier, to try to avoid coffee messing up with your chemical balance of adenosine. So the second force that governs sleep is a circadian rhythm. It's a circadian force that is something, it's not something per se, it's just a way to reference in a more simplistic way how our chemical and biology is cyclical. Like, each day, without any external factor, our body has this rhythm, this dance of hormones, then something happen after the other and stuff like that. So really short, he explains that in the morning we release a little bit of adrenaline, that is actually cortisol and epinephrine, and that's something that really pumps us up. If you don't get that pump, maybe when you wake up and you just want to stay in bed, maybe you can resemble the feeling when somebody, like, you know, deleted production database by accident, and you're like, oh my god, that person was just me, and you need to fix that. So you will feel a lot of cortisol and epinephrine in that moment, but in the early moment you feel that cortisol. Now, the cortisol is important for the beginning of the circadian rhythm. Now, my experience with that feeling, the early pump of cortisol is crucial for the whole circadian rhythm, like setting the circadian rhythm well. The circadian rhythm is actually governed, like in actual terms, by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and that guy in our body has something that sets it in the beginning of the day, and something that also gives it a signal when it's the end of the day. So be alert, be sleepy. Now, many times I wake up and I don't feel that urge I don't feel like I want to get up the bed. I don't feel like I have something important to do. Like in the day, I have to go out there and assess the day, and I just want to stay in bed with my curtains closed. I wish I didn't feel the need to check my phone, but I check my phone and I stay in bed for a while. And I usually get up of the bed. I mean, like out without the when I'm not in a work schedule. I wake up 9 a.m., 10 a.m. We get out of bed at 11 a.m. and I'm perfectly fine for this. I mean, with this. Now, Dr. Huberman's explained that is horrible for me. That is actually terrible because I have trouble sleeping, and I think that sleeping in the morning will help me recover from having slept early. And it's actually terrible because this pulse of cortisol should be in the morning, and that's what actually regulates the suprachiasmatic nucleus, I mean our circadian rhythm. And I've been neglecting getting that pulse in the morning. Now how do we get it? Because I generally don't feel it. So what Dr. Huberman explained is that to set it right, because if you are like me, you are getting at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. and you don't want the sunlight, or you try to get some sunlight and you're like, oh my god, please don't close the curtains. And the actual way to do it, to set the early day, is getting up not further than 1 hour after the sunrise. What the F? Going to try not to curse. 1 hour after the sunrise? Oh, dude! I haven't done that since I was like, I don't know, in school. Oh, no. Getting up and seeing the sunrise is what actually sets our circadian rhythm properly. It's what actually and the only way that the suprachiasmatic nucleus will receive this signal that is the beginning of the day. Now, you gotta do that, and you have to be bathed by sunlight for at least 2 to 3 minutes, fully, like outside, not through a window. Not your phone is not enough light. You must get sunlight. Now, what happens if it's winter, or what happens if you are like in a place where there is not enough brightness? Alright, so what you gotta do is buy a sunlight light for you indoors and try to wake up to those. I wish I were a better YouTuber and I had for you some link with affiliate marketing with a sunlight, but I don't. And I haven't bought any through Amazon, so I can't recommend you anything. However, I do have a Hue light, and I do set it to wake me up early, and I think it really helps to wake up to sunlight or to light. And my Hue lamp have helped me a lot. But what I've been doing after getting this information from Dr. Hubermans is actually wake up, stand up from my bed, even though I sleep right beside a window. When I go to sleep, I open the curtains, like just a bit, not to people to see me a lot, but I just open it in a way that I know the early sunlight is going to reach my eyes and wake me up just as good as my Hue lamp. And it's so interesting how I am comparing the sunlight to the Hue lamp when the sunlight has been forever, and the Hue lamp has like 4 years of it was invented like yesterday. And The sunlight wakes me up. I have an alarm that I haven't used. I mean, it sounds after the sunlight wakes me up at 6 and a half a.m. And I wake up, I stand up, and I go outside to my I don't know how to say this, to my porch. It's not a porch because I'm in an apartment. To my thing. I need to learn more English. To my thing that is outside when you are in an apartment. And I get bathed on that sunlight. I look to the sky, and I even don't get, the sun doesn't rise from my window, and I have to get out of my apartment. I cross the hall, and I look to the sunlight through the fire staircases, because the sunlight really rises from them. And I check it out for a few minutes, and I really feel how my body is acknowledging the beginning of the day. And every day is getting easier to do, but for me, it has to require also not to let it slide. I really have to stand up. Today, for example, I said I still have time. I still have more than half an hour to wake up and see the sunlight, and I started to feel like a little bit sleepy. Maybe I will close the curtains and check the phone. I felt all of that again. I kind of closed the curtain a little bit, and I felt the room dark. And I remember then again Dr. Huberman saying this is going to mess up your circadian rhythm. So the important thing about setting up is that you need to set it every day. Now that's why I don't want to sleep. I mean, I don't want to let it slide. Like today I'm not gonna pay attention to it, and I'm going to do whatever I want and whatever I feel. And it happens that Dr. Huberman says that this feeling is my rhythm badly set. That if we actually have that rhythm, okay, all right, I will consistently get that sunrise sunlight, this feeling is gonna get easier with time, because it's just going to be natural to our body. Now, another thing that Dr. Huberman says is that we need some anchors, how to make this easier, how to make this being set in our bodies for a while. And he says that anchors are set also with the end of the day. At the end of the day, setting the end of the day works just as similar as setting the start of the day, but with sunsets. We should be bathed on the sunset, and the sunset, I mean the sun at certain angles projects a lot of blue and yellow light at certain specific wavelengths, and those wavelengths are the ones that we are susceptible. And is going also to say to the suprachiasmatic nucleus that hey, it's the end of the day, and you should start to get sleepy. Now, very curious about this, because it means that if we see lights after this hour, we will mess that setup, because come on, the sunset is very early on the day. Well, I'm not supposed to keep like on the computer working, or at least like watching TV. Like why? What? So Dr. Huberman says that many peer-reviewed studies has told that actually seeing the sunset helps prevent errors on the circadian rhythm by seeing light later on the day. So getting out of that hook, I think that is worth mentioning. That's great. I've been also seeing the sunset, and the feeling is not as dramatic as when I see the sunrise. My body really resonates with seeing the sunrise, but with seeing the sunset, I feel a little bit more. I get more like nature-like I feel more in sync with nature, but it's not as dramatic as in the sunrise. When I see the sunrise, my body really changes right there and there. Like I started to feel very alert and awake. Now we can stay in our phones and laptops and computers then after the sunset, there is no problem with that, but Dr. Huberman explains that receiving light between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. actually activates the habenula, which is called the disappointment nucleus. Now, this disappointment nucleus and the activation of the habenula nucleus in the midnight, it actually is extremely related to depression because it suppresses dopamine, which is the feel-good hormone that we feel when we are happy and thrilled, and it inhibits learning, and it can make us experience mood changes, anxiety, unreliable focus, and metabolism disorders. I feel horrible when I'm awake after 2 a.m. So maybe this is not for me, not true for 11 p.m., for 12 p.m., but definitely the more time that I'm awake, and especially after 2 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., I feel like and that really correlates to me a lot. So what I'm doing now is try to not see my phone, not see TV, not be on the computer after 12. I started to getting off the computer after 9 p.m., which I'm actually in summer here, so it's when it's the sunset. So as soon as I feel the sunset through the window, I get up, I get out of my computer, and I see the sunset. Then after that, I don't know, I have dinner or something. I do something outside of my computer. Maybe I watch some TV to start relaxing, and I try to get up before 11 p.m. Now, sometimes I'm still very alert, so I kind of push it a little bit more, and I go to midnight, and then I really feel sleepy, and I jump on that train, jump right in. I don't even question it. I don't do much fuss about it. I don't overthink it, and I just go to bed, try to close my eyes, and try to fall asleep. Now, doing that is not easy when the circadian rhythm is messed up and when you are very stressed. And I've tried that. Like, now that I'm saying it, I'm like, how the fuck, how this week it work, and I haven't worked for my last, I don't know, 6 years. And I think that it has to do with the sunset and the sunrise for me, apparently, because actually this week I've been sleeping terrific, really well, and I haven't had troubles to fall asleep. But before seeing the sunrise and the sunset, 2 weeks ago, I was a mess still. I really had huge troubles waking up and falling asleep. But now that I'm waking up with the sunlight, waking up is not as difficult. And now that I'm making memory, going to sleep hasn't been difficult at all. So yeah, maybe this is actually helping much more quickly than what I thought. Another thing that is very interesting that he mentions is that well, very quickly, this point is about, okay, now is after sunset, I want to light my apartment. And he says, all right, now the ceiling light is going to might trigger the sensors on your eyes, the neurons. So if you don't want them to be triggered by the bad light, you should set it behind. Lower than your eyesight, because the neurons that sense the lights are actually seeing the light that is over your head. So if you set lamps below your eye level, you should still feel illuminated, even on the floor. You should still be able to see well, but your light sensors in your eyes won't feel so overwhelmed enough to trigger improper activation of the supramaxis nucleus. Okay, I think I pronounced that horrible this last time. All right, so he also talks a little bit about naps, which is amazing because in my experience, he says that, okay, you get that pulse of adrenaline early in the morning, it takes a dip in the middle of the day, and then it rises up again, and then it takes at the end of the day, it finishes to exist in your body, the initial pulse of adrenaline. Now in that dip, he says taking naps is the bombs, is the best. Taking naps or making some deep relaxation in that period is really going to help you boost, take good care of your alertness and focus capabilities through the day. Now, my thought on this is great. I mean, taking naps is great. When I was younger, I took naps everywhere. When I was in the university, I took naps everywhere. After you are not in those environments, taking naps is difficult, because if you are in a work environment, you might be in places where napping is normal, or you might be in places where even yawning, you get scolded by yawning. And it's like, hey, be awake. You can't be sleepy after your meal, after your lunch. You can't be sleepy at 2 p.m. You can't be sleepy at 4 or 5, never. And these are places with a lot of stress and a lot of coffee involved. So if you ever wonder what you could ask for a good company that is not related to software or salary compensation, hopefully you can ask for a way to take advantage of that dip in adrenaline that you will feel in the middle of the day, because it's natural. And it's not you that you are being a procrastinator or a good worker. It's natural and it happens to everybody. Even Dr. Huberman explains that he does take naps, or he does some yoga or something, or some meditation in that moment, and that actually when you wake up you are way more alert. I've experienced napping at work as well, and it's wonderful, but you cannot do that in all places at all. So if you can push for a place to take advantage of that napping instead of going for a cup of coffee, please do. Now, another deep relaxation technique that Dr. Huberman talks is about Yoga Nidra, which is a yoga sleep. It's a yoga where you don't have to do poses. You mostly listen to a script. In his channel, he has some scripts. You feel every part of your body, and it's like some sort of yoga meditation hybrid. He says that it really dramatically improves his day. The other thing that you can do, a very popular one, is meditating. I particularly haven't meditated much. I feel like I have to get into that, because the more that I watch things from people that I admire, the more meditation is recommended. I haven't felt that deep in energy since I started waking up at sunrise, but I think that I'm changing my internal rhythm, right? So maybe with time I will again feel the dip of energy in the middle of the day, and I will try meditation for sure. Another one that really took me by surprise was hypnosis. He says that hypnosis has some forms that will help you sleep and with your troubles, and he's also listening to things. I was really how to say this. I was really intrigued by him recommending hypnosis, because hypnosis has apparently finally crossed this threshold between, oh, this is something like esoteric, and now hypnosis is practiced by psychologists, by psychiatrists, by neuroscientists, and it appears to be something legit and that can actually help you. Dr. Hurmans doesn't get too much into how hypnosis works, at least so far, but he does recommend some people that you can go follow and search more about that, talk about hypnosis as well. Really interesting, the point about hypnosis. Now, if you have problem controlling your thoughts at night, he says a very important phrase that is like, it's very hard to control the mind with the mind. If you have trouble controlling your impulses in your body, you always recur to your mind. And when you have trouble controlling your mind, you should do the opposite. You should go and try to control your mind through your body. And he explained, check it, not yoga nidra, and the other forms of yoga, meditation, they are both focused on breathing, on laying down, on how to move your body, and other ways to use the body to control the mind. Wow. I have a lot of trouble sleeping, and one of the techniques that really worked for me, that was from a TED Talk, was when I'm asleep, laying down, all right, I have my legs right there, and I put my hands in my legs. That was from a TED Talk, and I started to drum like on my legs. Okay, where's my hands? Okay, I start to do this, and it starts to sound like, right? And I should feel at first do the rhythm that I feel that I'm naturally at. So usually I go to bed, I'm super awake, and I do this, right? And then you should start to lower the rhythm until you get very slow. Now, sometimes it works amazingly to control my actual I won't say anxiety, but I will say like my own sensation of alertness. I try to get it down through this technique, but I feel that seeing the sunrise, seeing the sunset has helped me tremendously, much more better. I've done some yoga, and it have also helped me tremendously, and doing some other activities or the food that I take also helped. Now, the circadian rhythm is not just seeing the sunrise and the sunset. It's affected, the suprachiasmatic nucleus is affected by a bunch of factors. When you sleep, when you work out, when you get up, and a bunch of other factors. But only sunlight is a direct signal to that nucleus. Um, but in the moments that I've act more in sync with my own actual supposed rhythm, like getting early, up early, working out early, not eating so many like cholesterol, sugars, I felt like my sleep have improved a lot. But also stressing environments. Being on a stressing environment is hard for your sleep. At least for mine, was horrible. I had a coworker that quit one job that he was with me, and he told me I just cannot keep up with waking up so early, and my sleep schedule is getting trashed. I'm sleepy all day. And at first I said, yeah, that's okay, that's completely respectable. But I was like, that's so weird. Why don't you put up with that? Of course, I thought that for my own insight. When you don't put up with that, I also have trouble getting up early. Sometimes I get late at work because I fall asleep, I couldn't get up. But after a while, and after I stopped working in that environment, I acknowledged that I should have taken his road. Yeah, definitely. I sacrificed my sleep for a salary, and it's not worth it at all. Especially because there are thousands of companies out there that do not have that trouble. So you should not affect your quality of life as dramatically as having issues sleeping to work in a company at all. If you can't sleep due to the level of stress that is presenting that company, take time to find another job and be straight up. You don't have to like do it on the side. I wouldn't recommend that. Be just straight up, like, dude, this thing is affecting my quality of life. I did that. It did a lot for me, but nobody is going to fire you so you live a better life. Nobody is going to make you that favor. You have to get out. They might fire you because they think you are lazy, and that will be fine. You shouldn't sacrifice sleep for work, ever. Working affects your lifestyle in many ways, but touching the sleep is too much. That's when a line should be drawn. Definitely don't let it happen, please. Now, concluding, if you drink anything that affects your adenosine, and you don't feel that hunger for sleep at night for drinking coffee or energy drinks, try to drink it early on the day and not as late on the day. And if it still affects you, try to find another thing to do, because it is messing with you. So if something is not good for you, just repeat that out loud. This is not good for me. And repeat out loud, getting sleep early is good for me. If you get bathed in the sunlight for a few minutes, you will set your day and your suprachiasmatic nucleus right. We will set your circadian rhythm right. If you get bathed on the sunset light for a few minutes, you will also set your circadian rhythm for the end of the day. Do not get light between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. This varies. For me, as I said, 2, 3, 4 a.m. are horrible, but I do get light 11 p.m. 12 a.m. But I'm trying to respect this space a little bit more and try to achieve the no light after 11 p.m. But we'll see. I hope I get there sooner, but I will definitely never let light happen again, that I receive constantly lights after 2 a.m. because at first I thought that it was something particularly of me, but now that I know this is through biology, science, and it happens to everybody, I'm just using only my body just to say some way, don't do it. I won't do it. So you shouldn't either. Team no lights after 11 p.m. Hashtag team no light after 11 p.m. Be consistent in the previous points. If you're not consistent, the rhythm will not anchor, will not stay with you. Napping is normal. Don't demonize napping. And it's okay to nap from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., not the 3 hours, just between that range. Like after you eat or after a while, nap for 20 to 30 minutes. Dr. Huberman's video doesn't mention how much to nap, but naps should not take more than 30 minutes because then you get into other stages of sleep. So I decided to add a little bit. If you have problem controlling your thoughts, dedicate time to control your mind through your body, through yoga or to meditation or to hypnosis or other mediums. And also check your environment. As I said, stressful work environment will definitely affect your sleep. Maybe how you exercise, maybe how you're eating, because it's like I do everything right and I ate 300 grams of beef steak at night and I have trouble sleeping. Well, maybe it was the beef, like you're eating too much at night, or you are not respecting other metabolic things in your daily basis. So well, if you have any experience that you would like to share about how your work has affected your sleep, please comment. If you have any questions, if you are like new to work environments and you haven't yet know where to stand your ground and not let work get into your personal life, and you want some guidance, also comment. Maybe somebody else in the comments will answer, and I will definitely answer too. But people is not talking much about how they let work mess up with their personal lives. We shouldn't let that happen, and we shouldn't let our co-workers burn themselves out because we have a release, and fuck that, like 100%. Yeah, software is not more important than your sleep at all. Never has been, never will be. Take care and see you on the next one.